Hello, my friends. It has been a really long time since I have done any sort of just laid back chat, especially a Q&A. I think it might have been close to 2 years ago now. So this should be fun. And if you stick around to the end, I have a really big announcement I can't wait to share with you all. We're gonna dive right into it because you guys are really curious. There's a lot of questions here between YouTube and Instagram. There's a lot. I'm gonna try and get to as many as I can. Now I have my computer here with all of the questions and some notes for myself so I stay on track because I have a tendency to talk a lot and get off track. So we're gonna keep me on track here with this. So if you see me looking down, that's why. All right, the most asked question is about all of the moving things, house hunting, all that stuff. So jumping into that, moving. The reason behind wanting to move, because so many of you are like, how can you leave your cute little home and your garden and everything? I will tell you why we want to. So my parents are about an hour away from us and they're a really big part of our life and we need to be closer to them, and our church as well. Our church is right next to my parents and those are just two big parts of our life, and it just makes sense to be closer to those things. We definitely need more space. We're in a 2-bedroom home. We already have 2 children, a boy and a girl, and they need their own space. Eleanor is getting older and she's really wanting some time away from her little brother. And right now there's just nowhere for her to go to escape. So we need some more space. We'd love some more bedrooms. I'd love an office. Matt would love a workspace. And we are just maxed out here. There's nothing else that we can do to make this space work for us, especially just how this home is laid out. We also don't love the location. We're on a busy road. We're on top of our neighbors. There's really no privacy or seclusion. There's no peace and quiet. I can't go outside and film for you guys and not have a bunch of big rigs going by, which is annoying. And of course, we would like more land. The Lord has given us a lot of really big dreams and we need more land to do that. We would like some more animals at some point. Matt really wants to keep bees. That's a desire of his. I really want ducks and I want sheep. We have talked about raising cows for beef and also dairy, and then pigs as well. So those are all maybes, but they're definitely in the dreams. Definitely would love bees, ducks, and sheep. Those are our top 3 at the moment. I would love a space for a dedicated orchard. I'd love a space for like a dedicated rose garden, and then also a cottage kitchen style garden close to the house. And then I'd love to have like a big, maybe high tunnel or a greenhouse and a market garden further away from the house. We'd love some sort of water on the property, stream or a pond. I know many of you are asking, okay, what would our dream property be? And we're not overly picky. There are a few things we would love: just more space to grow as a family and on the land. We'd love some sort of water source. I would love an older home, an old farmhouse, stone cottage, something like that. And if we couldn't find that, we are open to building if we can find the right land for the right price. And I'd love to build a new old home if it comes to that. Matt and I both have a really big desire to help people and take care of people. We'd love to grow some food for others and maybe offer classes, have a space for gatherings. I have actually dreamt of having a bed and breakfast for a really long time. I love hosting and taking care of people and just making them feel special. And I'd really love to do that for people in ministry. So that's a dream of mine and Matt's as well. So lots there that we would love to see happen, but we will see what the Lord provides. As for house hunting, as of right now, it's just at a standstill. There's nothing on the market in the area we believe we should be looking in that is within our price range. The market is just so inflated right now. We're just kind of waiting on the Lord. His timing is best. It's still really a seller's market, which would work in our favor. As we sell our home, we could get a nice profit on it, but we would need somewhere to go. And right now there just isn't anywhere to go. We don't have anyone we can stay with. And we had looked into renting, but the cost to rent a home, mind you, with no yard, and they wouldn't allow us to have chickens and, you know, what's available to us here to rent, it would be like 4 times the cost of what our mortgage was. And that's just nonsensical. That doesn't make any sense to us at all. So that's just not an option for us right now. How do you feel about leaving your garden? It is bittersweet. My garden and I have been through a lot together. While it has grown, I have also grown. And it's funny though how the Lord prepares you for a new season. I have felt such a disconnect from it. I still love it. I'm still grateful for it. I still appreciate it. But I am so excited for this new season and taking everything I have learned and creating something new. So I'm definitely very excited about it. So many of you asked, why did we redo the kitchen if we are moving? And if we redid the kitchen, does that mean we are no longer moving? Yes, we are still moving. Regardless of moving or not, it needed some work done to it. And for however long we are here, we get to enjoy it. And we'll see a return on it when we go to sell a home. Kitchens definitely sell a home. So now we've got brand spanking new countertops. I redid everything. Someone asked if I hired out for the painting. No, I painted everything. I stripped all the cabinets and repainted them. Matt and I did all of the work except for the countertops. It's the only thing that we got someone to come in, install them. And that was the biggest chunk of change, was just the countertops. Everything else was fairly inexpensive. One of you asked, would we build on to this home? Do we feel like the Lord is just calling us to stay here because we can't find anything? No, I don't feel that. Matt and I both feel very strongly about moving. We're not necessarily in a rush. Like I said, all in the Lord's timing, we're okay with that. But we definitely don't feel that because of all the reasons I just stated on why we want to move and why we feel we should move. And also we couldn't build on to this house because of zoning. So that's not an option. How do you keep your chickens warm in winter? So we have winter hardy breeds and they don't really need anything extra to keep them warm. We do try and keep their bedding clean and dry throughout the winter. We try and put up boards around the chicken coop to shield them from the winds and from snow accumulating in their run. And then if we're having a super, super cold snap, we will put in some scratch feed that has some, what is it? Cayenne pepper. It helps just heat them up from the inside out, but that's all we do. Where have you traveled and where would you want to go? I am a very untraveled person. I have never left the country. I have been to a handful of states. I have flown 3 times in my life. I have gone to Montana, Utah, and Arizona, and then the neighboring states like New York, Maryland, Jersey, Virginia, those states, and then I think I've driven through a few others, but we don't really do a whole lot of vacations. Matt and I do have some things on our bucket list. He and I would love to take a tour of Europe, like a World War II tour, go through Germany and France and Italy. I'd also really love to go to England. I'd love to go to Scotland and Ireland. That would be super cool. Perhaps one day, we shall see. What prenatal would you recommend? I like Needed's prenatal. It's a very complete prenatal, so I would definitely go with that. Okay, fun one. Why is my mom homeschooling my kids for me and why am I not doing it? So in short, basically I am working full-time. So time is an issue. And in truth, it is not my gifting. It is not my gifting. If I had no other choice, I would absolutely do it. I would make it work rather than send my kids to public school. I would make it work. Perhaps if I wasn't working so much, I think I would be able to apply myself a bit more and have more headspace for it. But right now, that's just not our reality. Now, my mom absolutely loves teaching. It is 100% her gifting, and it is her heart's desire to do this for her grandchildren. She adores them, and she wants to help me out however she can. So it is a huge blessing, one I don't take for granted. She has homeschooled me and my brother. If you didn't know, I was homeschooled K through 12, or no, it was actually first grade through 12. She homeschooled my nephew and another girl not related to us, but she had dyslexia, and she needed some one-on-ones. My mom helped her for a few years. So she's got the experience, and here in PA, I can't speak for other states because I just don't know, but here in PA, as long as the parent oversees the schooling, anyone can teach the child. So my mom's teaching her. My parents have this cute little schoolroom on their property. I drop Eleanor off 3 days a week, and then my mom brings her home to try and break up the driving for me, because no matter what, it is an hour out and an hour back. So if my mom didn't bring her home, I would be driving 4 hours a day. So that's another huge reason why we need to move. We need to get closer for school. All right, this one is a juicy one, just because there's a lot to it. My health. So I'm going to try and give you as short of an answer as possible, because it could truly be a video or two on its own. So if you didn't know, I have struggled with health issues for the last 8 years of my life. Before that, I was a generally healthy person. It started after I had my daughter, Eleanor. And the symptoms I was having, I have them written down here just so I don't forget anything. Serious digestive issues, like a plethora of gut issues, hormonal issues. I developed anxiety, depression, and OCD. I was having serious issues sleeping, constant restlessness, serious food sensitivities. I'd have muscle aches and spasms, acne all over the place, teeth issues that just kept coming. I had recurrent sinus infections, and I was just generally a sick person. I would just constantly get sick. So I've gone the allopathic or conventional medicine route. That's how I started. I saw a series of doctors and specialists, all who told me it was in my head, and would just dismiss everything I said. They wanted to put me on meds, and they would shame me if I started to question how they were going about things. So obviously I said goodbye to all of them when I wasn't getting any help. And then I started researching everything and anything. And the Lord and I went on a journey together. He opened my eyes to a lot, all of the broken systems and the lies. And a serious lifestyle change happened after that, which kind of led to homesteading and learning to cook everything from scratch, and growing and preserving our own food. So after all of that research, I found out about going the more holistic route, going with some more natural doctors. But I learned pretty quickly that just because they're a more holistic doctor doesn't mean they are a great doctor or will have the answers for me, and I had to fish through them as well. Probably from the beginning until now, I have worked with 9 or 10 different practitioners, and I have done all of the testing. I've been tested for literally everything. So I've done conventional, naturopathic, I worked with herbalists and functional medicine doctors, which is actually what I'm with now. I'm with a functional medicine doctor who is very, it's a root cause approach. I have definitely experienced the most healing with my current doctor. They have listened to me. We've done some more testing. And I know that it is a God thing. God definitely led me to this new doctor through just a series of things. Sorry, I had to change my battery. It died on me. But anyways, most of the issues, the symptoms I explained have either completely healed or are much improved in like the last year or two, especially since working with this new doctor. The biggest issue that I have had has been my gut. The gut is just a very complex thing, and it's still gonna take some work. I did do a 6-month mold protocol with this new doctor, and I saw a lot of healing there. And I am now on a gut healing protocol, because even after the mold protocol, they were thinking that was the majority of my gut issue, but it seems it's not. We're doing one thing at a time so we can keep ruling out different things. We're not trying to throw too much at my body at once. So I am on this gut protocol, and I'm on month 2, and I'm already seeing some great results. So we're going to continue on this for a little while, and then go from there. But I'm very hopeful. There are still some things I'm having a hard time digesting, and some things that are just like instant inflammation in my body, or sometimes put me into a flare. And by a flare, I just mean like serious digestive upset, especially high histamine foods. So we're addressing that, which kind of brings me to my diet. I had a lot of people ask about what my diet is and if I'm still gluten and dairy free. I was both gluten and dairy free for a time. I'm not so strict about it anymore. I do make sure that if I am consuming it, it's just a little bit and it's high quality. Usually I make it myself. For dairy, I can only do A2 raw dairy. I can only do a little bit of it in like serious moderation. I have maybe a tablespoon or 2 in my coffee every day. I can't just do a whole glass of milk. That's not happening for me. I do seem to do okay if I bake with dairy or if I have cheese. That is okay. Gluten I can get away with 1 or 2 times a week, but there are often times where I won't have it for a few weeks. Again, I have like a threshold where if I put too much of something into my body, it's like, whoa, we can't handle all this, and it sends me into a flare. So yes, I will consume a little bit of it, but it's definitely not like a big or even like daily part of my diet. Do I eat what my family eats? It depends on what it is. Usually if it's a really gluten-heavy meal, I will have a couple bites of it sometimes, and then I always keep easy meats on hand in the freezer that I can just pop on the stove and heat up for myself. I'm good with some veggies and some starches. I can do sweet potatoes and potatoes, so I always have those things on hand. I try not to be overly restrictive with my family because they don't need to be restrictive. I want them to have a nice, diverse diet. I want them to eat all of the things and enjoy what they're eating. So I don't make them eat only what I can eat. I do have to be careful with things that are heavily seasoned. I do go easy on the seasoning, even if it's like a meal I know that I can have. If it's heavily seasoned, that doesn't go over very well, especially things heavy on garlic or onions. I cannot do peppers or tomatoes. That's one thing I do stay away from. And some other like higher histamine foods, eggs are hit or miss, bone broth, avocados. Fermented anything is an absolute no-no for me. Which brings me to another question. Do I make sourdough? Currently, no. I have in the past quite regularly, and we all really enjoyed it and loved it. I do still have a starter. It is hibernating in my fridge, and it's been in there like 2 years. It's probably fine. It's resilient stuff, but because of my health issues, no. Number 1, I can't have it, and number 2, even though I could still make it for my family, I needed to cut back on the amount of things that I was doing. With like this chronic health issue, my energy was just so low. I was just so tired all of the time, and I cannot do it all. I mean, even a relatively healthy person, you just can't do it all, and you have to pick and choose and make a priority list and stick to those things. And sourdough just wasn't a priority, and it just got pushed off to the side. I am hopeful that in the future I can tolerate it because I do love it, and so did my family, and I'd love to incorporate that into some videos. I would never stop yeast bread, so don't worry about that. I love yeast breads, but right now I just can't do anything fermented, so it's not in the works right now. Now, I know some of you are probably thinking, but Kelsey, I thought sourdough was supposed to be good for you. Not if you have histamine issues, which, spoiler alert, a lot of people with gut issues have issues with histamine. Sourdough is not going to be very helpful for you in that case. Even, if you have a generally healthy gut, it, of course, is going to help you digest that gluten. It's going to introduce some good gut bacteria. Sure, that's great. Same with all ferments, sauerkraut, kefir, even yogurt. All great things can introduce great bacteria into your gut, but that in and of itself is not going to heal you. You can throw all those things at your gut, but if you have a seriously damaged gut, there's more that you're going to need to do. And I would highly recommend, if you're having a lot of gut issues, which I know so many of you have mentioned in comments before that you are, you need to work with someone. The gut is a very complex thing, and we're all different people. What's working for me may not work for you. We all have different genetics. We all have different toxic loads and burdens, predispositions and sensitivities. There's just so much that goes into it. It's really hard to figure it out on your own, and you really need to have some testing done. And please hear me on this. Don't take what works for me or someone else, or take an influencer's word for something as like the end all be all. My hope in sharing what I share is that it encourages you to do your own research and come to your own conclusions, or search out help and find answers that work for you and your body. Sorry, that got long-winded, but there's just a lot to that for me, and I know a lot of you are very interested in my health, so there's a little smidge on it. But moving on. Would my mom do a video with me? I did ask her, and she said that she would. What would you want to see? She and I were talking about doing our favorite Christmas cookies because we were thinking about making up like trays or boxes for people. Would you want to see that? Do you just have questions for her? So like, let me know. What do you want to see from my mom and I? We were also thinking about doing an antiquing trip. So let me know if you want to see that. Okay, here's a juicy one. Are we having more babies? So, short answer, it is completely up to the Lord. I do really desire more kids. Matt, I think, would be okay if we were done. He really wants more space, bigger home. Before we would have more, we already feel really cramped. And there's a lot of uncertainties in our life right now. There's a lot of stressors in our life, especially in Matt's life right now. So we've just agreed to give that over to the Lord. Whatever His will is what is best for us, and that's what we both want. We are both willing to surrender our personal concerns and desires for whatever the Lord wants, whatever His will is. So all I can say is that we shall see. Who taught you how to cook? I am, for the most part, self-taught. My mom didn't really like cooking. She would cook for us, but that wasn't something like we did a whole lot together. I did bake a bit with my Nana, but pretty much self-taught, and I did have a lot of help from the Food Network. I watched that all the time as a kid. The music, do you play it? I am so happy that you love the music that I choose for the videos because I love it too. No, I don't play it. If you don't know, I played piano from the time I was 7, and violin, I think I was 10 or 11. It was a huge part of my life. I went on to pursue a music performance degree, ultimately decided that wasn't the career that I wanted. College kind of ruined it for me, unfortunately. I don't play a whole bunch anymore. but I still have a really huge appreciation and love for it. I really love classical and romantic era music, like so much. I listen to it a whole lot. I either listen to that or I listen to praise and worship, or I love like cinematic orchestra stuff. And no, they asked if I played at my church. I used to play at my old church. I was the music minister there for about 20 years. My new church, we have more contemporary style worship. So I'm not playing there. And honestly, after doing that for 20 years, I needed a break where I could just come and worship and learn and not have it kind of feel like a job. So, it's been kind of nice not having to play right now. What denomination is your church, and were you and Matt both raised in church? Yes, Matt and I were both raised in church. I was raised non-denominational. Matt was raised Methodist. We currently go to a non-denominational church. It is a Bible-believing, Bible-teaching church, and Holy Spirit-filled and led. What do you and Matt like to do for date night? Matt and I are both foodies, so we do enjoy going out to eat and trying new things. We don't get to do it a whole lot, and we don't do it a whole lot because it does add up quickly. But it is definitely a treat, especially for me, because then I get a night off from cooking, which is nice. We just like to spend time together. It doesn't have to be anything special. Sometimes it's just going to Costco, kid-free. We do like taking walks or going hiking. Matt really loves going to the shooting range. It's not like something I love to do, but I love him, so I do go with him every once in a while. He will go to the antique stores with me. We just like to walk around. We do believe it's very important to continue to date your spouse, regardless of how long you have been married for. So usually, it's usually not more than once a month that we get to go out of the house kid-free. Either my parents or Matt's parents will take them. But it's important that we have some time to just talk without kids screaming in the background. Time to talk and connect and dream together. Don't ever stop dreaming with your spouse. But if we don't go out, we do still prioritize time at home together. We try and get the kids to bed about an hour before we'd go to bed. And sometimes we just play games, watch a movie or a show together, or just sit down and talk. We both love coffee. We like sipping on some coffee and just chatting. But honestly, we don't even have to talk. Sometimes it's nice to just sit in silence with each other. Sometimes we'll just read a book next to each other. Sometimes we'll read a book together. So that's what we do. What are some fun things to do with kids without spending money, not screen time? So I too struggle with the screen time, especially in the winter months because we're stuck inside. And it's about the only way I can get my kids to be quiet, and being that I work from home, I do use them from time to time. So solidarity there. We have recently started allotting a certain amount of time each day at a certain time of day where they get to sit and watch a movie together while I work. And that has been working out really well so I can film uninterrupted. I know you all love the kids and don't have any issues with hearing them in the background, but let me tell you, my kids are loud and they yell and scream a lot and I can't even think. So it is needed. My kids love building things. They love magnet tiles or anything of that sort. They love building forts. We do a lot of fort building, probably at least once a day. I have some other things written down here. They love being outside. They have a mud kitchen they will spend hours at. They play with their chickens. They make the chickens homes. They love digging in the dirt. Both of my kids love critters and are always on the hunt for more. And then whenever they find something, they'll build it a habitat. And they love scavenger hunts. That's something we enjoy doing with the kids. We'll give them a few things to go and look for, take a basket. We do walks. We do little nature walks, that sort of stuff. sometimes we go walk around our local greenhouse. It's open all year round, so that's a fun thing we do. In the winter, they also have a coffee shop there, so once a week I let the kids go and pick out a little bakery item, and they share a coffee. We do go to our local library every now and then. That's not something we do a whole lot of. My kids don't love it, but it is something we do once in a while. And libraries often have really great free programs. We don't personally have a homeschool group, but if you do homeschool, that's a great resource. We do have a few friends who also homeschool, and we try to get together maybe every 2 weeks or so. We're also busy, but we do try and prioritize getting together with other families about every 2 weeks. Sometimes it's once a month just because time gets away from us, and we do go to Nana and pop-ups a lot too. So those are some things we do with our kids. I had a few people ask about where we live. A few people wanted to just kind of help us out in our house hunt. Some people were just curious. Of course, I'm not going to give specifics because people be cray, but we are in the south central, southeast part of Pennsylvania. Everyone always thinks when I say South Central that we're in Lancaster and because we have Amish. No, we're actually like an hour and 20, an hour and 30 from Lancaster. I've only ever been to Lancaster a handful of times in my life. We are closer to the Harrisburg area. We have Dauphin and Lebanon and Schuylkill and Berks County. That's more our neck of the woods. I had so many of you ask about YouTube and content creation and equipment, all the details in there. So I'm going to talk about that now. If this isn't of interest to you, you can skip ahead to the next question. I started in September of 2022, so about 3 years ago now. I started because I felt the Lord call me to share our life and everything that He had opened our eyes to, and our lifestyle, everything we had learned, how we steward our family, our home, our land, all of that. So that's why I got started. It took me 3 months to get monetized. I started in September. I was monetized by the end of December. And if you don't know, you need 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours in a 365-day period in order to get ad revenue, to get monetized. I had a plan going into it. I was determined to make it work, and I had 6 months of content planned. I knew my niche was going to be homemaking and homesteading. I got a relatively good camera setup from the get-go. A lot of you asked about what I have. I used, what I'm filming on right now is a Canon 80D, and I have 3 lenses that I use, 2 that I primarily use now. The one I have right now on here is a 35mm. I have a 24mm that I use inside here. It'll get a much bigger picture. And I have a 50mm. It's much more zoomed in, and I use that outside a lot. I got a good tripod. I bought a really good laptop to edit. I use Adobe Premiere Pro on my laptop. I also have Adobe Lightroom, which I use for all of my pictures. I have Canva, which is what I use for any overlays on the video and also for my thumbnails. I have these mics. It's a DJI mic. I didn't have this to start with. I just had, it was a Rode mic, looked like a big cylinder on the top of the camera, and that wasn't the greatest. I upgraded to this last year. What else do I have? I also got vidIQ, that's vidIQ, that I got just the basic plan there to help me with keyword search and SEO optimization for titles. So that's kind of my setup. And then my other advice, because flies, a lot of you said you either have a channel or you're thinking of starting one. other than do whatever the Lord is calling you to do would be to have a plan. Plan out a whole bunch of content and be consistent. Have a schedule and stick to it. Post the same date and time every single week. You will be rewarded for that. Stay in your niche, at least starting out until you build up an audience base. What else do I have here? Be real and be authentic. Don't put on a persona. Talk in your real voice like you'd be talking to a friend. I'm talking to you right now like I would talk to my best friend sitting here on the couch next to me. Learn how to use light to your advantage. Lighting is your friend. And that may mean filming at a certain time of day, depending on the natural light in your house. Always aim to use natural light, not synthetic light. Learn how to take good photos. This is just me personally, but if I am on YouTube and I'm searching something, I'm gonna click on the one that has a beautiful thumbnail that is well thought out, that draws me in. I typically don't click on the thumbnails that are just like a still shot from the video or look like they were an afterthought, because in my mind I'm thinking, well, then the video is probably an afterthought or is the same quality as the thumbnail, you know? And that might sound snooty of me, but I'm just being honest. Your thumbnail really reflects the quality of your content. Even if the content would be good, no one would ever find out because they wouldn't click on the thumbnail to get to the content. Titles and thumbnails are just as important, if not more important, than the video. That's how you get people to the video. Learn how to craft your titles and your description around SEO, search engine optimization. Research what people want to know in your niche. How can you help them? How can you solve a problem? Let's just say you're a homemaker. You're putting out homemaking content. You just made a video on your daily life. It's kind of a vlog style. And in the title, in the thumbnail, and really even in the video, you haven't helped someone with something. You haven't solved any problems. You're not inciting curiosity. More than likely, you're not going to get many clicks on that video. You haven't built up an audience base yet. You have to draw people in first and help them with something. And then after you've built that audience base, you have a little bit more liberty to do more of just like the bits and bobs of life because they're invested. They want to see those things then. So be intentional about your content. What is your schedule for filming? I don't have one. It's whenever I get time that week. What I film is just kind of part of my life, so it's whenever that happens. But it usually looks like 2 to 3 days of filming. Not all day filming, but here and there throughout 2 to 3 days. Now it depends on the video, because like this video I can get done in a matter of an hour or so. And I like those videos. Those videos are easy, but if you want an aesthetic video, a little bit more creative, you want some close-up shots, multiple angles, yada, 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 it's gonna, figure on 3 to 4 times the amount of time it would normally take you. Editing for me takes about 8 hours, sometimes more, depending on the video, but I am picky and I'm also a creative. I like details, and if I didn't do all of that, it'd probably take me a lot less time. I take about 2 hours each week to research SEO and topics, also thumbnail text, all of that sort of stuff. I take another hour to work on my thumbnail. That doesn't include the time spent coming up with content ideas, testing recipes, and shopping, picking out music, replying to comments and emails. And now that I've been incorporating some ads into my content, I have to write a script, I have to memorize it, I have to film it, I have to edit it, I have to send it off, wait for it to come back. For me, it's a lot of work, but that's just how I do it. I could do like a vlog style and not have it be so aesthetic and creative, and no close-up shots, no different angles, no music, etc. I could get it done in a fraction of the time then, but that's just not me. That's not really what I enjoy. I do that for some videos, like a garden tour, but I really enjoy making things beautiful. So that's just how I do it. You can make it work for you. Okay, since I did the video, I'll put it here on the screen, I expressed frustration with the algorithm and all of that jazz. Has the engagement we have given the videos helped? Has niching down further helped? I tried to incorporate more topics into one video under like the cooking videos. I tried to kind of weave some storytelling in there with some other areas of my life. The answer would be yes and no. I don't know if I'll ever understand the algorithm. I'm kind of over it. It's ever changing. I do what I think it wants, and sometimes it rewards me and other times it crashes and burns. Like the last video I did was completely within my niche, my normal content, and it is down. I think the views are down 38% right now. A healthy channel of my size of 115,000 subscribers should be able to get like 20 to 30,000 views a video, and I was doing pretty good there for a while. Like for the most part, I can get around that, but there have been some that are like stuck at 9,000 views. There's been a few over the last couple of months that are between like 9 and 14,000 views, and I don't understand. So I'm just gonna keep posting what I want to, whatever I feel led to. And I am still going to try and continue with the storytelling and weaving in some other topics under the more cooking themed videos under like a disguise. And actually when I was at Homesteaders of America, I spoke with Michelle and Cody from More Than Farmers. I got to talk with them for like an hour. They're so helpful, and they experienced a lot of the same things I've experienced, and they had to do the same thing. They encouraged me to weave in the other topics under whatever does well. And the same thing with Ruth Ann Zimmerman. I spoke with her. They all expressed the same frustrations. It is a very frustrating thing as a content creator to deal with the algorithm. And just so you know, none of us, at least the people I have talked with, are in this for the money alone. However, the money is necessary for us to continue doing this. It's a hard balance having this be my livelihood and a source of income, money we depend on, and also just wanting to share and help people in any way we can, and having to cater to an algorithm. It's a really hard balance. Please have grace for us in this area. I promise you every content creator deals with this to some extent. It's easy for someone to just say, oh, don't worry about it. Just post the things that you want to or that you feel led to. And I know your heart when you say that, but on our end of it, we go ahead and we do that, and then we see our views cut in half. We wonder how long is that going to continue, because you seem to deal with the ramifications of it in the next video and in the next video, and it's a slow climb to get back to where you once were, and then you wonder, am I going to make enough to pay our bills this month? But I so hope you can see and hear my heart behind this. I'm just a real person over here. I'm trying to figure it all out. I have a real life and real responsibilities. I am trying to work on ways around this issue. I don't want this to be my main source of income. And with all of the creators I have chatted with, other homesteaders, they all say the same thing: diversify your income. So that is what I am working on. I did want to say I have started taking the ads, and that is not something quite honestly, I love doing, but it became necessary to know I have a set amount coming in regardless of, what the algorithm does. I try and only do 2 a month so that it doesn't overwhelm you. And I always, partner with brands that I use personally and stand behind. So always know that. Now, that leads me to another question. Will I create a website for my recipes and tutorials and such? So yes, that is my big announcement. The website is being built as we speak. I hired a brand and website designer. She is working with me right now on a rebrand. It is still Seed and Sparrow, but she has just given it new life and purpose and has just created the most beautiful space for you all to go to access my recipes, a blog for tutorials and just life stuff. And there will be a newsletter that you can sign up for, get some freebies, and also receive some more behind the scenes, just real life stuff going on. You'll get first access to new products, and there will eventually be a merch store. I have thought about having a little bit of a mercantile of some of my favorite products, maybe even like a flea market with some antiques and stuff. So I have lots of ideas up my sleeve. It's going to be a little bit of time before all of this comes to fruition. It's quite a large undertaking. I am super, super excited about it. I am not sure of a launch date quite yet. I'm hoping sometime either at the end of the year or early into January. You'll have to give me a little bit of grace as I get all of the recipes up. That is a huge undertaking. So my hope is that once the site launches, that moving forward, all of my new videos with recipes, everything will be linked in those videos, that you can just go to the link and it'll take you to the website with the recipes so that you can print it off, have all the instructions and everything there. That is going to take some time. You'll also be able to pin it to Pinterest, and all of my recipes will be searchable, which is going to be so nice. I know it's frustrating with YouTube. Nothing is searchable, and there's multiple recipes in each video. So you'll be able to search each recipe, and then I will also link the video that corresponds to the recipe so you can go and watch it if you like to see it happen. Will I ever put out a cookbook? That is a huge dream of mine, and I would love to do that someday. There's no plans in the work right now, but perhaps in the future. I am, however, planning on some ebooks in the new year, some recipes, and perhaps some DIY pantry staples, those sort of things. And I'm gonna try and find a source to print them and have them spiral bound. So you could have a hard copy of those. So you can look for those things in the new year. And if there's anything that you've been looking for me to put out that you'd love a resource for, let me know in the comments what you'd like to see an ebook on. Okay, the last thing I am going to get to, because this is getting long. How can you help? And this is just so kind. Thank you to everyone who asked that question. Engagement really does help. Liking, commenting, sharing is so helpful. Watching a video all the way through from start to finish. So YouTube rewards you if you get viewers watching for a long time. They want that retention. They want you to stay on YouTube. So if you watch my videos from start to finish, that does good things for the algorithm. Watching the ads. Now, I'm guilty of this too. I don't watch all the ads when I watch YouTube. It's a pain in the butt, I know. But if you can at least watch them for 30 seconds, that is helpful. Shopping through my links. So I always have all of my links in the description. A big one is Amazon. You don't have to buy anything that I recommend or anything in my shop. All you have to do is have items in your cart ready to go and then go to my link. Once you click my link, it like stores the cookies or whatever for my shop, and then I just get the credit. It's a small amount, but if a lot of people do it, it does add up. So that is one thing you can do. Shopping through any of my other affiliates, I try and get good discount codes for you all so that, if you're gonna buy it, you might as well get a discount on it, right? So those are always there. On the website, I am gonna have an entire page just for affiliates and my favorites with all of my discount codes for easy access. And then clicking the links for the brand deals that I do. Of course, the brands look for sales. So if it is something you're interested in, using my link is going to help me out, because it'll show the brands that it'd be a good idea to continue working with me because you want them to renew you. So definitely, if you're interested and in the market for any of the things that I partner with, it is helpful if you purchase through my link, but also just clicking on the links. They like to see that engagement as well. But I am just so, so grateful for you all. I am blown away by your support over these last 3 years. You're all such a great community. The encouragement you give me and just showing up every week, I'm so grateful. And the fact that you care for me and my family just blows me away. I thank God for each one of you every day, and I pray for you all. I hope that I can continue to show up in this space and give you inspiration and encouragement wherever is possible. But if there is something in the future that you would like to see from me, please let me know in the comments. I would love to do that for you. If I didn't get to your comment, I am sorry. There were too many, but a few of them I have tucked aside. I may make into a future video, but hopefully you enjoyed getting to know me a little bit better. I want to try and do one of these at least once a year just to keep things really real, so you get to know the heart behind everything that I do. But you have a blessed week, my friend, and I will see you next time. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. You take care.